On April 9, 1968, the RCA studio at 6363 Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood, a space once used by legends like Elvis Presley, the Rolling Stones, the Grateful Dead, and Henry Mancini, buzzed with anticipation. Musicians, executives, and crew gathered to record the soundtrack for Roman Polanski's psychological horror masterpiece, Rosemary's Baby. The film follows Rosemary and Guy, a couple entangled in eerie events surrounding her mysterious pregnancy. The score, composed by jazz pianist and Polish jazz legend Krzysztof Komeda, demanded precision and artistry. Komeda, alongside Polanski, aimed to create something haunting. Their collaboration, which began with Polanski's 1958 debut, Two Men and a Wardrobe, had already produced iconic scores like 1962, Knife in the Water, and Cul-de-sac from 1966. Polanski trusted Komeda's musical intuition implicitly, granting him creative freedom to compose pieces that seamlessly integrated with his cinematic vision. Komeda's music, blending jazz and dissonance, amplified the tension in Polanski's films, setting the stage for Rosemary's Baby. Photographer Marek Niziński was also in attendance. Thanks to his lasting contribution, this extraordinary music session remains preserved, captured on Niziński's 50mm lens camera. In the RCA studio, the orchestra tuned their instruments with reverence, sensing they were about to create something haunting and unforgettable. Unorthodox techniques were used: strings plucked for eerie notes, flutes echoing with ghostly resonance. The late 1960s was a transformative era in music. Jazz and experimental sounds thrived while rock matured, producing groundbreaking albums from the Beatles, The Doors, Led Zeppelin, Jimi Hendrix, Pink Floyd, and the Velvet Underground and Nico. These works defined the era and changed the course of music history, influencing generations of artists and composers. Komeda, attuned to these shifts, embraced emerging aesthetics. In Poland, jazz, Komeda's primary language, was losing ground to rock and roll, locally known as Big Beat, with bands like Red Guitars, Breakout, and visionary Czesław Niemen gaining prominence. For Rosemary's Baby, Komeda blended jazz, avant-garde, pop, and rock. Inspired by Ennio Morricone, he incorporated electric guitars, rock beats, and even a San Francisco flower power vibe in the Rosemary party track, capturing the late 60s spirit while achieving a timeless quality. Polish contemporary classical music, particularly Krzysztof Penderecki's works like St. Luke Passion, influenced the soundtrack's choral elements, adding depth and texture. Led by conductor Dick Hazard and sound engineer John Neal, the session was intense. Komeda's meticulous direction ensured the score mirrored Rosemary's unraveling psyche, using dissonance and fragmented melodies to heighten the film's paranoia. The soundtrack, featuring actress Mia Farrow's haunting lullaby, became an unseen character, amplifying the film's themes of isolation and manipulation. The use of diegetic music, such as the eerie chanting during dream sequences, blurred the line between reality and hallucination, further immersing the audience in Rosemary's perspective. The production wasn't without conflict. Polanski clashed with producer William Castle over creative control, adding to the film's tension. Castle, who had initially wanted to direct the film himself, eventually stepped aside, though disagreements over Polanski's vision persisted. These creative conflicts, both in the studio and on set, ultimately shaped the film, adding layers of intensity to its final form. During the film's production, Farrow's personal life was equally intense. Her marriage to Frank Sinatra in 1966 was marked by a significant age gap and conflicting ambitions. Their marriage was falling apart, with Sinatra serving her divorce papers on the Rosemary's Baby set. Despite their brief 18-month marriage, Sinatra and Farrow remained close friends until Sinatra's death in 1998, with Farrow often referring to him as the love of my life. Released on June 12, 1968, Rosemary's Baby initially earned $32 million, far surpassing contemporaries like 2001: A Space Odyssey, Barbarella, and The Graduate. The film subsequently became a cult classic, unanimously considered by critics and audiences as one of the best horror movies ever made. The film was controversial for its satanic themes, and its reputation was further complicated by a series of tragic events that unfolded after its release. Shortly after filming, Mia Farrow's marriage to Frank Sinatra ended. 14 months after the premiere, the Manson family murdered Polanski's wife, actress Sharon Tate, and 4 of her friends in the Benedict Canyon area home that was rented by Polanski. Roman Polanski continued to create masterpieces like Macbeth and Chinatown, but haunted by personal demons, his career was overshadowed by turmoil. On March 10, 1977, he was arrested in Los Angeles on charges of unlawful sexual intercourse with a minor, rape by use of drugs, and other offenses. Initially pleading not guilty, he later accepted a plea bargain. The victim has since forgiven him, stating that the media frenzy was more traumatic than the incident itself, though questions remain about the motives of lead prosecutor Roger Gunson. These controversies prompted Polanski to flee the US in February 1978 before his formal sentencing. Despite thriving in France and winning Oscar for the Best Director in 2003, he has never made a movie in Hollywood again. The Dakota Building at 1 West 72nd Street in New York City, which was a location for Rosemary's Baby, has also continued its dark legacy. On the evening of December 8, 1980, John Lennon of the Beatles was shot and fatally wounded in the archway of the Dakota, his residence in New York City. 6 months after the historic RCA studio recording session, Krzysztof Komeda sustained a serious head injury during a party in Beverly Hills. The details of the accident remain a mystery to this day. Despite the best medical efforts, Komeda slipped into a coma and never recovered. He was brought back to his native Poland and passed away on April 23, 1969, at the age of 37. Komeda's influence endures through Rosemary Baby, showcasing how music elevates filth into an unforgettable experience. His minimalist, haunting soundtrack filled with eerie melodies and dissonant harmonies continues to inspire composers and filmmakers. By blending jazz, pop, rock, classical, and Polish traditions, Komeda created a unique sound that enriched Polanski's vision. His innovative techniques and atmospheric scores remain influential, with contemporary artists still drawing from his groundbreaking approach to film scoring. This podcast was produced by PolishJazz.com and Diginet Digital Distribution Network. Text written and narrated by Cezary Lerski. All rights reserved. All photos from the Rosemary's Baby recording session were provided for this podcast by Adi Art and were taken by Marek Niziński. All other photos by Marek Karewicz and other anonymous photographers. all video clips from the PolishJazz.com archives. The background music features a rendition of theme song from Rosemary's Baby by one and only Mariana Wróblewska and is copyrighted by Polskie Nagrania and Warner Music Group. All rights reserved. Stay tuned to PolishJazz.com podcasts, where we explore the lives, works, and legacies of extraordinary Polish jazz artists, alongside key moments in Polish jazz history. Discover Polish jazz, a captivating treasure awaiting your exploration.